Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Hardcore FBB Podcast. My name is Claudio, your host, and today I have a special guest straight from the United States, IFBB Pro Women's Bodybuilding, Kelli Larkins. Hi, Kelli, how are you?
Hello, Claudio. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, and thank you for joining me today in
You're
in
welcome.
this.
No problem. I was excited to get your message about being on your show.
Excellent. Cool. Yes, because the reason why I invited you, first of all, I'm a big fan, and I have to tell you, I've been following your career as an athlete for quite a while. Kelli also has just turned pro, earning her IFBB Pro card at the 2025 NPC National Championship in Texas, was it?
Yes, Texas.
Yeah, in Texas, which, yeah, she presented an incredible physique and conditioning, and she's the new women's bodybuilding IFBB Pro. So, and also, Kelli is starting a really cool, new, interesting project, the Behind the Physique documentary series that you're going to produce. So this is a very, very exciting project, especially considering that we are in a period, in a time when women's bodybuilding has been cancelled from a few shows, for sometimes it's for the lack of athletes on stage, and for all different reasons. But we all believe in this division. It's one of the pillar of the sport. So for me, it doesn't make sense at all that women's bodybuilding disappear, because it's bodybuilding the sport, isn't it? Yeah. So there are a few initiatives going on online, and first of all, yeah, please tell us a little bit about yourself and about this fantastic project that you're planning.
So it doesn't make sense for any of us for bodybuilding to disappear, especially in the women's division. That's why I believe a lot of people have jumped on board with my project. I created the page not even like 2 weeks ago, and we had a great following and great feedback from women and also fans of the sport. And so my name is Kelli Larkins. I recently turned pro back in December in Texas, and I have been training to become pro for the past 15 years. It's just taken me a while because I've had a lot of things happen in my life, family, children,
Yeah,
and then also COVID happened, and there was just all these periods of just inactivity, and I finally got back to it. My friend Jacoby, who also became my coach, he reached out to me because I was in a period of my life where I was just kind of lacking direction and questioning what I was going to do. And he reached out to me and was like, let's do this. And I was like, okay. And then I jumped back on board despite not training the way I should have been or eating the way I should have been. And then we did the best we could with where I was at. And he, helped me get to the stage. And our goal was just to, one, have fun and present my best package. And if I got my pro card, I got my pro card. And that is what happened. And we were happy with everything, despite, some hiccups along the way. And especially the week of, I almost missed stepping on stage because, traffic in Texas. And I'm just like,
oh, really?
Yeah, I was getting, when you're there, you have to sign up. The athletes sign up on this thing, this app called Muscleware. And what it does is tell you when categories are going up, or if they're looking for you, or when to start pumping up. And I thought I received a message saying that they're looking for Kelli Larkins. They're lining up. I'm about to go on stage, and I'm in traffic, and I'm freaking out, and I'm driving there, and I show up, and I'm I tell them I'm in a parking lot, and I'm running in, and girls are already lined up, pumping up, about to walk on stage. So I'm just there trying to eat something really quick, get some honey in, and then I'm trying to pump up. I only had literally 2 or 3 minutes.
Not enough time.
On stage. Yeah, so I had all that anxiety and adrenaline going on, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but I made it. And you probably couldn't tell like what was going on behind the scenes. I just went on like everything just like switched. Like I was like, okay, I got to shut my anxiety off, and I went on. I did my thing, and got good feedback from Justin. And then later on that night, we improved our look a bit. We got a little bit harder. I had time to pump up this time. I had time to eat, and so things presented better during the evening show. And it was just a great experience. Despite that whole like, there has to be some drama, at some show.
Of course,
like that.
Yeah, a little bit of tension, a bit of suspense,
Mm-hmm. And after receiving my pro card, I came home. I drove to Texas and back. That's a long drive because I drove because I have my children and my friends. So
you're based on. Not far,
I'm in Florida on the
Florida.
Yes, I'm on the east
so
coast.
So you drove from Florida all the way to Texas. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I drove all the way there, and I had my children, and then I had my friends. So we were just all.
So they all came. They all came to support. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then we had like an Airbnb. We were there for about a week.
Yeah.
It was
okay.
It was pretty fun. And then after the show, drove back and then kind of gave myself a little time to rest. I didn't go overboard eating or anything, but Jacoby was like, yeah, just relax, like don't even like, kind of like just go have some meals here and there, but be like a little bit conscious about it. Don't go overboard and like, at an all-you-can-eat buffet. But so I did that, and now we're in the health phase where I'm just letting my body recover and increasing my calories, because it's not really smart to like jump back into it and increase your calories like super high right away. So we're like slowly building myself up, and then I'm going to be preparing for my pro debut that here in, I think I start around late March, early April, and I'll be competing at the Atlanta Pro at the Linda Murray.
The Linda Murray show, yeah.
Yeah, that's in Atlanta, so it's not too far of a drive for me. I'm driving. I'm not going to fly.
Oh, yeah, Atlanta from Florida is not far, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not too long.
It's official. It's official, right?
Yeah, I already signed on. Okay. Yeah, it's official.
Great. Well, I will say it in the description of the video as well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was planning originally on doing Tampa because it's closer, and
Tampa.
And I also I used to live in Tampa, so I'm familiar with the area and love the area. And I was going to do that, but then, I woke up one morning and everyone's like, Tampa took out women's bodybuilding. And then it didn't get back on the schedule yet. So my coach and I are, problem solvers. We're like, what's the next show? And it's like, oh, Linda Murray's the next show. All right, we're going to go with Linda Murray instead. And so I signed up with Linda Murray. And then several days later, I believe, women's bodybuilding got put back on the schedule after everyone started, questioning what was going on and posting about it and gaining more traction and support. But I'm still not, I already chose the other show, so I'm not going to do that. But I am going to go to support the women who are competing that day, because a lot of us, spoke about it. And I think there's about 8 to 10 women showing up that day, maybe a little bit more. And so that brings us to what is going on in women's bodybuilding. So the morning where I saw that they removed Tampa, it wasn't just Tampa, it was like Chicago, New York.
New York.
But these big shows,
Titans as well.
Really?
Yeah, that's another one that was cancelled. And I think there is another one. Which one? Can't remember, but yeah. But Tampa is good that it's back, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, at least it's back. That Tampa. I'm not sure. I don't know if the other ones are going to bring them back, but yeah. So a lot of us gathered together and trying to figure out what we can do. And then Anastasia Ryder created the GoFundMe, which has had a lot of support since its creation. And I believe that may have been what sparked the promoters and Jake Wood and to kind of okay, let's bring it back.
People are interested. it's definitely one of the reasons they put back. I was told by someone that is in this group chat with all bodybuilders, Jack Wood and everyone, and they kind of told me that the support that this GoFundMe page is getting to have women's bodybuilding back in one of these shows in America worked. So yeah, and then they announced that it's back, so it's definitely working.
I'm glad it's back, but it's like they easily took it away, so it can easily go away next year. That's my concern.
That's the thing.
I don't think we're safe right now. Because like this happened way back in the day with Olympia, where they took out women's bodybuilding for a while.
And sorry to interrupt, but Tampa was also canceled last year and then reintroduced again.
Yeah,
it's something similar happened last year, but then they still actually no, not Tampa. I think it was maybe New York.
In New York
or Tampa. New York Pro, they canceled at the beginning and then they put it back. I think last year, but then this year canceled WBB.
Yeah. And okay, so yeah, it's very, I don't say it's sketchy, but the schedule is kind of all over the place, and it's like it makes it hard for us to plan our preps, because we're going through, let's say, a lot of us, like I dieted for about 20 weeks leading up to December, so I have to give myself a chance to rest and then choose the shows. And a lot of women competed either 2 or 3 times last year, and they take their time off, and then they have like their sights on the show that's going to happen. That usually happens. And when you wake up and you're like, oh my God, like what the heck is going on? It's hard to, I guess, have faith in shows and knowing that it's going to be there when they can easily just remove it, and without even speaking to the women of the division. I mean, I know they can do what they want. It's their shows, but, speak to the women, see if there's something we can do on our end. See, come together as a community, do something, not just, give us a chance to have it there, to save it and see what we can do on our end. Because a lot of the women came together and we're doing things about it. Anastasia has her GoFundMe, and I believe, I'm not sure who actually created the page, but the women and I were speaking about having a collaborative female bodybuilding page that is run by female bodybuilders, where we're going to be creating the content that goes into it. And there are several moderators. So that's going on. And then also a lot of the brands and podcasts that support female bodybuilding are doing their best right now in promoting the sport and having creating more activity. Because like for a while it was kind of, I'm not saying it was dormant, but there wasn't as much activity as there is now. And the need for women to speak up, come out of their shell, because a lot of us are introverts and we all just keep to ourselves, do our bodybuilding and, work and all that. We don't promote ourselves as much as other divisions do. True. And so I think that needs to change. And, on my end, I was saving to invest in my YouTube channel to have professional content made for myself. But then this happened, I was saving for my prep, my pro debut. And then this happened and I was like, you know what? Like, this is an opportunity for me not only to do something for myself, but do something for the division, for the other women who possibly don't have that opportunity or money saved up to invest in professional videography. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this documentary. I wonder if anybody would be on board. And I threw the idea out there, and a lot of women are interested. And so that's how Behind the Physique Bodybuilding came to be. I created a page. I spoke to my videographer. We have everything mapped out, and I posted that we are casting, and it's open to amateurs and professionals, because I want people to see, what it is like from an amateur perspective as well as a professional, from an older athlete, a younger athlete, women from different backgrounds, because we're all different people and we all just have one thing in common from, that we know of right now, which is our love for bodybuilding, a love for training, and, seeing what we can do with ourselves and pushing ourselves. So that's what we have in common. And I wanted to create this platform where each woman can showcase their individuality and present themselves in the way that they want to be presented, whether they're a mother, whether they're like
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
or like in the army, because I know a couple of athletes who are in the army and they're still making the time to compete, to diet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So basically, not only the athlete aspect of the episode of the woman that you represent, but also outside the gym, like the life,
family life, personal life, what other things that they have going on, they're going to be able to have control of their story. When I'm selecting the athletes, I give them, athlete boundaries and expectations, and to let them know, like, hey, what do you want us to film? What do you not want us to film? And anytime during the filming, you can be like, hey, I don't want this in there. And they get to choose how they're going to present their story, how the world is going to see them. And I believe that is also giving power back to the women, letting them, choose how they want to utilize this platform, because like when we compete, we only have 15 seconds on stage, 5 to 15 seconds on stage. And that's all you see. That's all people see is us when, aside from the work, all the hardships, the struggles, and they just see the finished, polished product and nothing that goes behind it. And I believe that the women deserve more of a platform, and also the fans deserve to see us off stage and get to know, what we're open to letting them know, and humanizing the sport and the women in it. And I believe that this is going to allow fans and people to connect with us on a different level, whether they are interested in bodybuilding for themselves or not. I think that it'll allow people to appreciate us and the sport more.
Yes, that's a fantastic idea. So you said it's going to be 8 episodes, right?
Yes, 8 episodes.
So each episode will be focused on one athlete?
No.
No? Okay.
Yes. So the casting is for 8 athletes. And one of the athletes, are including myself, because I'm going to have myself in it. But each episode is going to highlight 8 athletes. So you're not just going to focus on one person. Throughout the whole series, you're going to be following 8 women who all have the same goal. Some of us might be doing the same shows. I believe myself. And I just released our first chosen athlete today, Anastasia. She's going to be doing a show.
I've heard. That I'm doing as well. Great.
Mm-hmm. So she's going to be doing a show as well. So some of the women will be competing at the same shows, some will not. But we're going to be following 8 separate women who are going to be, preparing themselves for stage. And we're all going to have different things going on in our lives, different ways that we go about our training, our dieting. And I believe that's going to be a unique thing to see and experience. And it's also going to be very fun to shoot. And I'm pretty excited for this.
Yeah. I can't wait. It's a fantastic idea that I'm sure is gonna draw a lot of attention on the division, especially for people that don't know much about it. But the fact that you don't show just the stage, the competition, but you show the whole process. You follow the athletes during this each episode, and probably it's gonna end up showing some stage shots following these athletes all the way to Atlanta. With said also Anastasia is gonna do the Atlanta Pro, right? So
she's doing Toronto, Tampa, and I believe Tampa. Yeah, I believe she's doing one more other show aside from those 2 that I listed.
But for athletes that want to apply to be part of this project, how does it work? Do they need to be within a certain area in the world so they can shoot? How is it going to work?
So preferably, they would need to be in the U.S. at least for this series, because our budget can't be traveling, and I haven't figured that out yet. Reaching out to outside of the U.S., but I wouldn't deter people from applying, because my applications that I received for this series, I'm holding on to them and keeping people, in consideration for our next. I plan on making this a yearly thing, and so I'm going to be holding on to our applications as well, considering them for content that we're going to be creating. Because I'm not only working on the series, but I'm working on the having the page present present athletes from all over the world and highlighting the women in the sport, and they're going to have their own platform there. And I wanted to do that because not a lot of people have the opportunity. A lot of women in the sport have the opportunity to be on either podcasts or have platforms where they can, have the opportunity to be in quality videos and being highlighted and acknowledged. So I felt that this platform was needed. And on another note, I wanted to give back to the women, not only in this manner, but in the form of sponsorship or monetarily. So the content that they help create, they're going to be receiving a form of royalties. So any donations that we receive for the project or the page, a percentage is going to be going back to the athletes. And also for this series, all the athletes who are partaking are going to be monetary compensated, as well as their suits are going to be donated to them. I have a suit sponsor who's donating the suits for all the women who are competing. And then they're covered, their costs associated with hair, makeup, anything leading up to the show is also going to be covered. And this is our effort to allow women to have more opportunities to compete. Because that was one other reason why a lot of women weren't showing up, is because they're saving for 1 or 2 shows. And after that, they're expended financially. And because it costs a lot goes into one show. Imagine doing 2 to 3 shows in that day. That's like my Texas one with the coach, with traveling, with hair, everything. I spent a little over $2,000. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I felt that, this series will help more women, get to the stage, and also the platform, utilizing almost like an ambassadorship, where whenever they create content with us, they're going to be compensated throughout the life of that content. Like, as long as that content is on our page, they're going to be receiving some monetary compensation for it. We're not just going to be taking their content and, getting popular off of it or making any money. They're going to be receiving in return.
Yeah, that's great. I'm happy to spread the word, especially because I'm Italian, but I live in the UK. So I know quite well the bodybuilding world here in the UK and in Italy. So maybe I can involve some athletes here to reach out to you and see how they can contribute to be in the project somehow with some content, even though, of course, they cannot be filmed by your videographer here, but if they can have content themselves and they want to share this on the platform.
An idea my videographer and I were speaking of, is either finding somebody in let's say UK who has access, maybe, or might know a videographer, or somebody who has at least a quality camera, and then we can talk to them about what kind of footage we want, and they can send it to us and we can edit it in. So that's also a possibility. That's why I don't want to deter anybody from applying, because maybe we can figure it out during this casting phase and consider somebody from outside the US.
Yeah, I mean, when it's end of March in the UK, there's the Arnold's UK, which I know already quite a few female bodybuilders are going to be there. So for my YouTube channel, I'm going to be there, going to be filming content, do interviews and stuff. But I'm more than happy to film something and hand it over to you as well. So maybe you can... Yeah. More than happy. Of course. I do it for the to help out. I don't do it for money, or I don't care about those things. I do it to help out. So I will be there. I did it at the FIBO as well last year. I did a lot of interviews, filmed lots of content, mainly with women's bodybuilders, women's physique and figure athlete. And I'm planning to do something similar again at the Arnold's here in the UK March, and then I'm going to go to Germany again to the FIBO, and I'm going to do, so I will be filming content. If I can do something and help out, I will be more than happy. I've got my equipment here. I have,
that'd be so awesome.
I've done lots of videos in shows all over Europe, and I love filming content. I have microphones, I have good camera, so I'm more than happy to to give my little contribution, if that could help.
Let's connect after our interview. I want to learn more about that and see what we can do on,
yes,
on your end as well.
absolutely.
Awesome.
I mean, this year, I'm planning to go at the Arnold's, at the FIBO. I'm planning to go to there is the Empro Classic in Spain, which has women's bodybuilding, women's physique. They are all Olympia qualifier. So yes. I'm going to be there. It's my 3rd year in a row that I go to do videos there. I'm going to go to probably the Europa Pro in Germany. I was last year. So I'm planning to go there as well, which is another Olympia qualifier. And by the way, I met Anastasia Ryder at the Europa Pro. I interviewed her last year. So I know her. She came on my podcast as well. So it was great to meet her. Yeah. I know her. And she's been on the podcast, and I met her in person as well. And also there is the Romania Muscle Fest, which is another big show in November that attracts women's bodybuilders from all over the world. And I go there, I do interviews. On my YouTube channel, you will see all the interviews, all the behind-the-scene footage I did. Plus, I know some coaches, so we're going to the check-in with them and do interviews with the coach, the athletes, the guys from the female bodybuilding channel. Yeah, they're my friends. They always there as well. So sometimes we do collaboration together. So if there is anything I can do to help, please feel free.
I have my data going on, so we can link up definitely after to brainstorm on what we can do. Because of course, content, we can get some perspectives from other women in the industry, or even
yes.
That'd be awesome.
Yes. I mean, it's not for now, but for the future when these events happen. If you tell me, if you can, I can interview. I can ask the questions you want me to ask or anything. I would be more than happy to be the cameraman here in Europe. I love it. I love doing videos and editing, and that's why I've got the YouTube channel. I
like seeing those online on Instagram. I've never been out of the United States, but that's one goal of mine, I think, is to, if it's possible, to travel over and compete. And I would like to do Romania one day. That seems like
the Romania Muscle Fest is a great show. We had quite a few American athletes competing. Actually, do you know Jane, the Thai women, but she used to live in Florida. She's from Thailand, but she lives in Florida. Jane Akara, she's a IFBB Pro women bodybuilder.
I may know. I have my phone right now.
If you see her, Big Jane.
Okay, Akara. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Okay, I've seen her.
Akara Pricha. Yeah. Yes. She told me that she wants to compete in Romania this year. Yeah.
Oh.
So she always competed in the United States, but I think with the new cancellation of New York Pro, which was something she was planning, now she's focusing on the Romania, and it's a Wings of Strength show. So there's Alina Popa, Jake Wood. They're always there. And the venue is amazing.
No, she has a great physique. If she does a Romania, I can see her definitely being first call out.
Yes. She's. I think if she nails the conditioning, she can be unstoppable because she's got that rounded size. She just need the right conditioning, which is what she's working on. So also. If I can tell you because these last few days there's been lots of talking on social media about what's going on in women's bodybuilding, what can be done, what are the mistakes that have been done, how can be improved, and I've heard a lot of things which are all reasonable, valid reasons, but nobody said something that I think is quite important. In 2025, as we know, we have a handful of pro shows, and there are not many pro women's bodybuilding athletes either. But one thing that happened last year is that the shows in Europe and the shows in America were on the same days. So, like, they were talking about the Rising Phoenix. Oh, there were not many people at the Rising Phoenix. People show up. Yes, because there was the Europa Pro also going on in Germany. Anastasia could have done the Rising Phoenix, but she was in Germany. So, of course, if they are one, they cannot. All the Brazilian athletes, Alcione, Barbara Mugen, they are all Brazilian. It would be easier to go to the Rising Phoenix, but they were in Germany as well. They couldn't compete. I think. Yeah, and that's one show. Same thing happened with the Romania show, Romania Muscle Fest, and then the Titan, same weekend. So, despite we had 6-7 athletes here and 6-7 athletes there, but of course, I understand that traveling back and forth on the other side of the world, it's not something that everybody can do. But if they put the show on the same day,
especially to compete, because if you're traveling, you want at least 7 days or so to like settle in and let your body acclimate.
And not only after they did the Rising. No, what was it? I think it was Romania and the Titan and the Titan. Romania was with the Steve Carr. You know Steve Carr? We were on the same day, and then the week after there was another one or something like that. So basically, it makes impossible for the athletes that are ready to compete on other shows within the same time period.
Yeah, we did speak about that, like the women in our group. It was like the way they schedule or structure these shows. It's impossible to. I don't say impossible, but it's harder on us to choose which show we're going to attend, and so it makes it look like we're not showing up. And another thing was, Super Bowl happened here in the U.S. like a few days ago. And on the same day, the same weekend, they had an event in Atlanta, like an expo, and I didn't understand why they would, schedule that on Super Bowl weekend. Like here in the U.S., that's kind of like a holiday. Nobody's going to skip that. Yeah,
most people. I will watch the bodybuilding, but most people probably watch the
football. Yeah.
Yeah, watch the football.
Even if they don't watch sports, they're gonna attend to see the commercials, and they're gonna tune in to see the commercials or the halftime. And I don't know who's making their schedules, but I don't think that was like the best thing to do, because I was being asked if I was going to go up there, and I'm like, I have to do this, and my children, and then the Super Bowl is happening, so I don't have a babysitter. It's. Like I couldn't just go, and I was like wondering like who else is going. And a lot of athletes watch the Super Bowl, so that made no sense to me. So I think there's also, as you said, there's a scheduling conflict, something going on.
Conflict.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I was surprised nobody noticed that, but I checked again because I have a website. It's called hardcorefbb.com, where I have all the competition, past, future, with the results, videos, everything. And I was checking again, and yes, they overlap. Some dates where I remember when I was in Germany and I was interviewing Anastasia, she was telling me, the Rising Phoenix in the same day, probably the day before. One was a Saturday and the other the same weekend. So it makes it impossible to. And also the other thing is they removed the big prize at the Rising Phoenix.
I heard about that. I was unaware.
There was a $50,000 prize, but from 2025 they removed that, and lots of people are like, the majority were no longer interested in that. So what they did,
a smaller prize, like a smaller cash prize,
smaller prize, and also the other issue is that basically the women that were competing at that show changed their mind because the price was not the same anymore, and after that people started registering for the show in Europe, and then they introduced the top 3 will qualify to the Olympia at the Rising Phoenix
To encourage more women.
But it was too late. And I remember talking to Anastasia. She said, I found out only too late that they were giving the qualification to the top 3 because I already booked the flights to come here to compete here in Europe. So basically it happened that there were only 6 athletes and the top 3 got the Olympia qualification, which made it a little bit weird because why they have 3 qualifiers there and only 1. In Europe, there was only 1 pro qualifier, Olympia qualifier, which went to the Brazilian Alcione, which was already qualified twice or 3 times before in the same year. So she didn't really need that qualification. But
in those circumstances, there should be like something in place where somebody's already qualified that the runner-up or second person gets a qualification.
Exactly.
Maybe not the prize money, but just a qualification.
Exactly. That's exactly what I wanted to say, because it could be discouraging training all your life to dream and be on the Olympia stage and then becoming second because someone that already won the qualification already decided to compete and win again, which I don't blame the athlete that competes again. That's fine. The runner-up should get the qualifier at this stage.
Yeah, definitely, because I don't want to discourage women from competing if they're already qualified, because, that's also a form of income for them. They're trying to make back, what they've invested. And I don't think that, they should be docked for that or shunned for competing again and stealing Olympia qualifications from other women.
And it's happening so often.
Yeah, it does happen here a lot in the physique category. That was happening where
the physique category.
I forgot her name, but the current physique Olympia winner, she competes usually 3 or 4 times throughout the year. Yeah.
These things happen all the time. I understand that. Someone is in great shape, wants to win the prizes because there are no money, so they're trying to, which is fine. But the qualification for the Olympia is what everyone is dreaming of. And seeing if Andrea Shaw decides to show up to every single pro show, she's gonna be alone at the Olympia. So, and in theory, she could do that, but. Yeah, that's why I believe they need to review or reintroduce the point system.
That would be interesting, and that was something that we were talking about. They're going to see if they can bring it up in petitioning to have the point system in place for women's bodybuilding, because I believe they had that done for the wheelchair division, the point system, and they were the consideration. So we were talking about maybe doing that for our division as well, because there aren't many of us. I believe, if I'm not correct, I'm not sure, but there's 60 active female bodybuilders, and that's very challenging for everybody to show up at 2 to 4 shows a year. That's going to burn everybody out. There's not enough of us right now, and until we get those numbers up, maybe have the point system back. I think that'll help. Exactly. And I don't think it's unreasonable to do that.
Yeah, exactly. If the problem is that there are not enough athletes, let's try to incentivize, athletes to step on stage because there is a reason to compete. If I have to compete, and I know already there are 2 Olympia qualified that smashed other shows, and they most likely are gonna win this next show. Why would I travel thousands of miles to go and pay all this money to not have a chance to compete at the Olympia? Because the Olympia is the dream. I know there are athletes, Brazilian, Russians also, that won Olympia qualifications, and they couldn't compete because they couldn't get the visa. There is a Brazilian athlete in women's physique. She qualified 4 or 5 times, but she never managed to compete because she got her visa denied every single year, even though she's working with a lawyer trying to. But sometimes it can be difficult if you come from certain countries, Russia especially. So. Yeah, I don't know if the IFBB can do something to sponsor athletes and grant them the visa. Probably if they had the chance, they do it, but
Yeah, I
it's
think they should do. I see big fitness brands sponsor athletes from outside of the U.S. and get them visas to work for them, to work for the
yeah,
brand. So I think it's definitely possible. Now,
it's
are they
possible
willing to do
because
that? I'm not sure. Yeah.
but one is, for example, Nastenka. I don't know if you Russian girl. Yeah,
Okay. No, I've heard of her.
she's considered to be one of the best in the world. She qualified 3 times for the Olympia, but unfortunately always rejected the visa. She's gonna try again this season, so she's competing in Spain in April. But she's got great chances to win. But I think it's gonna be difficult to travel and compete on the Olympia stage, and it's a shame because
Yeah.
it would be great to have her next to all the big names all together on stage.
No, I think that'd be awesome, because like when you think of going to the Olympia, you're thinking about that you're going to compete against the best in the world who are able to compete, and
Exactly.
that I don't know about other people, but myself, like I want everyone to be able to get there and not be held back, and also be able to present their best. I'm not hoping other people are going to show up at their worst, because if you're going to win a title, you want to win it against the best people. So to have
Exactly.
other women from across around the world show up at the Olympia, that I think that is something that we need to look into help happen. I'm not sure who to speak to on that end though, because that would have to be with the higher ups at Olympia to figure something out. I'm sure they know how to do it, but if they're willing to invest, especially in women's bodybuilding, that's a thing, because one of the excuses we're being told as well is that they don't have enough funds to have these category that shows. So they're telling our division that I don't know what they will do to help athletes from outside of the U.S. get visas. But I'm sure it's possible. Like I feel that,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, I know it's possible. We see brands
Must be
do it when
possible.
they have somebody who is worth the investment, and it helps their brand. They do it. I've seen them, with some, not our division, but women from. They're not even. I don't even think they're competing. They're like just brand ambassadors, influencers. But
Exactly. So
yeah.
yeah, if they find a way, I don't know if they do it through their sponsor or they've got other channels to do it, but if some can manage to do it, it breaks my heart to see some athletes that keep getting their visa rejected after they are qualified. It's like a dream. A dream
Yeah, and
vanishing.
qualifying, and then that would
But
be
it
very
happens to
fun.
so many. Mainly, yeah, people coming from Latin America or from Asia or Russia. Some of them gets, unfortunately, I understand we are in a difficult time from geopolitics situation, so sometimes it can be beyond our power. But if some can make it, as you said earlier, maybe there is a way.
Yeah, I know I feel that there is a way. I think you and I both know there is a way, but trying to convince, the federation and trying to come up with that, like
Yeah,
that's the hardest part.
true. What do you think fans could do? Of course, there are this GoFund page that you and Anastasia set up, which is great. It's a great start. But apart from on top of that, what else do you think fans or bodybuilding passionate that support this division in order to get the IFBB to understand that, there is a community behind it that still wants to see women's bodybuilder being on stage? Because sometimes they say, oh, it's not marketable. I don't believe that. I believe there is a big community, but sometimes lots of people that I happen to exchange a few messages. Most of them are big fans, but they've never ever been to a bodybuilding show. They've never seen even a bodybuilder in person. So I keep telling them, go buy the tickets, go to see the shows in person, or buy the live stream support, share. I mean, this is what I'm on top of my head. But do you think there is something else they could do in order to show their support?
So I can understand not going to shows because, like, for the longest time, I didn't go to like an expo or show because, like, although I trained and everything, I was kind of like hesitant about the community, like not knowing many of them and thinking that I thought that I was going to be out of place, like I wasn't athletic enough or I didn't look the part. I think that might deter people fans, that might deter fans as well. They're like, oh, we don't fit in there. People are probably going to wonder why we're here. We don't look like we train as much as them. But to be honest, that's just something, like all in our heads. Like when you're in that community, like bodybuilders don't see, like, yeah, we see you, but we're not like looking at you, picking you apart or anything. We're just like, we're very accepting and very, a lot of us are very shy and introverted. So that might look like we're not wanting to talk, like myself, like my face is like this. But usually when somebody approaches, like I'm immediately a light, switch turns on. I'm very like happy, smiling, and my tone changes. And like a lot of us are like that. It's just, people don't give us that time of day to like find out what we're really like. So on the fans end, I think if you can't go to a show, because also that's time and money, and sometimes these shows are far for a lot of people to get to, that the live streams are definitely where, and we can have our support shown, and also sharing the event online, like sharing it in your stories, or if you have like an athlete that you're following and have been following for years and you really want them to do well and keep up with their progress and they're going to be competing, if they post links in their stories or on their page or the shows that they're doing, just share it throughout their preparation. And I think that will go a long way in helping us gain more visibility. But in ticket sales, I'm not trying to be a downer or anything, but with how the system is right now, where you just buy a ticket that shows prejudging and then the next ticket is for evening, it encompasses all the divisions. There's no way to tell right now, like, let's say there's like 1,000 female bodybuilding supporters that show up. They don't know what you're there.
How do they know?
Unless they do like a questionnaire, So
I agree.
Yeah, because like right now they're saying, oh, all their ticket sales are from, let's say, men's open and the wellness and bikini division. And
how do they know?
They don't.
The audience came. I don't know. I've never been to a show in America. I will at some point. My dream is to be at the Olympia. But here in Europe, there are people cheering to every division. There are lots of female bodybuilders fans that I see coming to different shows. There are groups of people, but how the promoter know that they sold X tickets for this division, Y tickets for that division? How can they say, oh yeah, but people don't pay the tickets to see them? How do you know?
Yeah, they don't. For sure, like they don't have the actual data. They're just going off on an assumption that, oh, we only have, let's say, 10 athletes in that category versus 50 wellness, or that's the high number, but just for numbers' sake, 50 athletes in wellness. Like it's going to be a no-brainer that the wellness division is bringing more views opposed to women's bodybuilding. That's what they're going off of, not actual data that they're collecting at ticket sales or anything like that. I believe that they can update their system in a way to gather that, maybe ask a questionnaire after, or let's say the athletes give female bodybuilders a link, or every athlete. I don't know, like this happens on like some other sports like powerlifting or anything. Like the athletes are able to sell tickets through a link, like the athlete's not getting anything, but like have a link made for the athlete so you can see like follow where those cells are coming from.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's an option.
That's a really good idea, because in theory on a link there are I'm a software developer as well, so I've been working on web application for many years. So yeah, definitely there are links, where you can add parameters that is got all these ID that are related to a particular person, so you know where that click to purchase comes from. So if Kelli Larkins has got the link, she's gonna have that code. If someone click from there, they're gonna get that piece of information, and they will know, oh, Kelli has sold. Kelli is a woman's bodybuilding division athlete, so they know it's coming from. That could be a good idea. Yeah, and probably the fact that
shows, I think local shows can start doing that.
Exactly, that's a really good idea. Yeah, so they can understand better the interest, because I don't believe that there's no interest in women's bodybuilding. I refuse to believe that, because
I go to comic conventions and stuff. Like, there's a whole untapped crowd. Like, a lot of them probably don't even watch sports or anything, but the physique that we have, they're used to seeing that in anime, like, so that they love the physique. There's a huge crowd, and whenever people want to take pictures and just talk and talk and talk, so they're very interested. It's just that I don't think they're going to take themselves out of their comfort zone to go into a bodybuilding expo, like, so there is a huge untapped crowd and people who appreciate the physique. I don't believe that there isn't a market.
True. I totally agree with that. Also, I mean, I've been running my Instagram, my YouTube channel for a little while. YouTube, I think it's right a year and a half. But in a year and a half, my YouTube channel, I do competition coverage, so it's not one of those channels where they sexualize the sport. That's not that's for somewhere other pages. On mine, it's more about the sport and the competitions, the interview, the news and updates, and the same with the website. But what I noticed is the interest in people. I started just as a trial and let's see if I can get because I've been following bodybuilding for a while. I go to shows and I thought, all right, let's try to do something. And the channel has grown so quickly. There are so many people that actually love watching the shows. They know what the difference between each division. They know what is the conditioning of a physique when they know what they're talking about. Yeah. So it's not just a group of people that, oh yeah, I like that and that's it. They know how things work, and I love that. And I can see it every day on the feedback, the comments through the channel. And that's why I believe it makes me sad to hear and say, oh yeah, women's bodybuilding is not marketable, but fit model is. Well, I'm not saying it's not fit model. Okay, they exist, fine. But replacing one division for another because they say one is more marketable than the other, I don't believe that, because if you think about platforms or channels that are for women's bodybuilding, there are way more. There are almost zero for fit model, maybe something for bikini, but you can see that the community is big behind it.
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree with that as well. Like, I have nothing against, like, let's say fit model division or any other division that they're going to come up with. And, I've heard that it's more marketable, or they're wanting to be more inclusive to reach a broader audience, to people who are willing to compete because it feels more realistic, and not everybody wants to go to the extreme, like at the, like men's open bodybuilding or women's bodybuilding. But I'm all for that, but if you're trying to be inclusive, why try to cut out women's bodybuilding? That makes no sense. That totally goes against the argument.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It seems like they are trying to shift. Before it was the scale was bikini all the way to women's bodybuilding to be the most extreme, and now it's like they are switching from bikini to fit model, which is almost being like a normal. Not even a bodybuilder, like
it's like a person who goes to the gym.
And then,
yeah. like
yeah, and then women's physique to be the most extreme, but yeah, switching like this, I disagree. I'm not saying they should remove fit model, but women's bodybuilding is a pillar of the sport. Come on, it's been since the 80s.
And it's taken a long time to get to, that, because I've been, like I said, I've been like working towards this for over 15 years, and a lot of women have been in the same boat where, like we're gonna think very hard. Either we stop competing and not like scale down our size to fit into another category. It's one or the other, and most of us probably will just stop competing and like keep building what we have been. Because I've seen like during this when they took out Tampa and the arguments that were happening, the conversations online, some promoters were telling the women that, hey, why don't you just scale down? It's healthier, and then go into women's physique and be competitive there. But like my question is, where does it end? Like, what if you decide to take out women's bodybuilding? Are you going to tell us to go to figure? And then I feel that it's very inconsiderate and also irresponsible for promoters who telling the women to just like, oh, like we're gonna take this out now, change your whole life, change your whole training, disregard everything you've done all those years, and do this instead. And that doesn't show any respect for the athletes in themselves. They're just like, oh, we want to make more money, and so we're gonna do this.
Exactly.
It's disheartening, and I have my opinions about it and what I could say, but at the same time, like it's more people have to be upset about it and wanting things to change. Like me just saying things is not going to do anything. So like that's why I want to do this. If I want things to change, I'm going to have to do something to at least help facilitate that change. And the docuseries is my way of trying to see that change happen and appreciating athletes while having a documentary made and having a media page, because I feel like that's something in our sport that athletes don't feel is appreciation, at least on the women's side.
Yes, yeah. And also I see that there are more podcasts featuring women's bodybuilder coming out, so that's a great thing. And I'm collaborating often with the ladies here in the UK of the Beyond Condition podcast.
Yes, I've heard of
Yeah,
that.
it's Romana Scotzen, Sarah Parker, and more recently Ale Trevino is always guest in their podcast, and they talk a lot about what we're talking and what it's very, very. They did a podcast they just released a couple of days ago. It's like 2 hours, so yeah, it's a long talk, but I listen to it while I'm at the gym, so I find it very.
When I'm driving or something on my way to the gym, I'll tune in. That's what I do.
Yes, yeah, they make some really interesting points. Also because coming from LA, which is one of the best women's bodybuilder ever, and then Romana is another great Olympian. She did it in women's physique, but now she moved to women's bodybuilding. And they all behave like yourself in the division, and they're doing their best to keep. Plus, of course, there is David from the FBB Forum. There's George. There are a few the guys from the Female Bodybuilding Channel. Everybody are trying to give a platform to everyone.
I see that happening, and I'm very happy that the podcast, you, David, and I speak to David off and on, and I have an interview with him in the near future here in a week or so. So that is awesome that you guys have our back and are trying to help us keep that platform and allow our voices to be heard and our concerns, because a lot of people don't know what goes on. They see the stage stuff, but they don't know the politics behind it and what the athletes are facing. And I think that that's definitely very important to have independent news broadcasting from for the industry. Mm-hmm.
That's why also when I go to shows and I film content, I do the footage of the coverage of the show. Yes, okay, I will make videos for that. But I always do the behind the scene where I interview athletes between the prejudging and the final, or I go to the gym with them and do some interviews. And I like to show everything, also the stress before the show.
Yeah.
In Germany, I was following women's physique athlete from the UK, Nadine Phoenix, that I've known for a while. So I was doing all the check-in with her and her coach, interviews with them. So it gives like this behind the scene, and people really enjoy that, appreciate it.
Yeah, like they respect it more, and also they feel like they're a part of that person's story. Because I know that's what I get when, let's say I'm in prep and I'm going through things. I like when I say going through things, like when you're like depleted and everything, you just feel like alone. You're like, like you just feel like on your own. And then I tune in and I watch other athletes who are on their prep, and it helps, like seeing other people going through that and also following their stuff. It kind of gives you this sense of like, I can overcome what I'm going through, or I make sense of things that I'm going through, and also allows me to feel like more like I know that person. Even though I haven't met them in person, it's like I know their story. Like I'm invested. Like I want the best for them, and I want to follow this. So I tune in to what shows they're doing because of that person, not because of like, I know it sounds bad, but like there are times like if I can relate to one athlete, I'm gonna watch a show because of that. It's kind of like how we had these shows like Power Rangers. Somebody was like, I want to be the red Power Ranger, or I want to be the yellow Power Ranger. It's like there was somebody or something that in some way we connected to, and we being interested in the show just because of that one person. I think that doesn't just happen for me. I think that happens for a lot of people. Like, there are like boy bands or different groups where, I like them as a guitarist, so I'm going to listen to their music more. So I think where I deviated because I was thinking about boy bands and music.
That's okay.
Yeah. I think that this whole not having a following, or not women's bodybuilding not being popular, I think that's either a biased opinion on the promoter's end, or from the federation, where they're trying to deviate from the extreme, and they're just giving us reasons, and that's not really the truth. Or they just don't know how. Either they don't know how, or they don't want to, or they haven't learned how to market it properly, repackage it. Like, because obviously the crowd, people who are viewing this are different from 10 years ago. And like people, our attention span has changed. The things that we gravitate to are changing. And I don't know if they've kept that in mind and are, working on, I don't know if they have a marketing team, like Apple. Every couple of months they're changing something, and to keep us interested, keep us like wanting to get a new phone. And even though we just got a new phone, it's like they're putting out a new phone and they only change one detail. So it's like I don't think that they're doing the most on their end, and they're just telling the athletes, oh, you just got to keep showing up. You got to keep showing up. Like that's not gonna help. Like there was one year at the Rising Phoenix, I think there was like over 16 athletes on stage, or like, they're just spread out. Like people, even when women were showing up, I felt like there was still a reason or excuse why they didn't want women's bodybuilding there to have that.
Of course, yeah. There's always trying to find a reason for not having. And I think the main issue also in the long term, more than the shows in the pro league, are the pro qualifier. I mean, the show that you did was one of the best pro qualifier show I've seen in years. I wish they would be all like this. Yes, mm-hmm. Your show, that was, I think it was one of the best lineup ever, and I believe it was better than some of the pro shows that have been last year.
Do you think
better.
So? Yeah, I didn't watch
absolutely.
From the spectator's view, but being backstage, there are so many physique athletes, and also women's bodybuilding. Like some of the physique were transferring, like doing a cross, and it was interesting because at the amateur level, you don't know where you fit in. Still, you don't like, do I have a physique build? Do I have a bodybuilding build yet? And it's like after you get your pro card, it's kind of like, okay, I do fit in here. So this is where I'm going to work towards, where at the amateur, you're kind of like I was feeling that way too with my coach. It was because I was like, I don't feel like I'm big enough yet, upper body wise, or and then so we were like, okay, we're gonna let the judges tell us where where they think that we should be. I think I was like second or something in physique. I can't remember.
Physique.
Second or third.
You did physique as well. You did also physique.
I did also. I did both.
Right.
I think I got second in physique, and then I won my pro card in bodybuilding.
Yes. I saw the bodybuilding show. Yeah, and I remember. Yeah, the battle between you and Kathleen Vera, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, the battle you two did on stage was fantastic.
Yeah, overall, that was I was already ecstatic that I got my pro card. So the overall, I was gonna if I win, I win it. But that wasn't really. That sounds bad. Like I wasn't shooting for overall. My main goal that I executed was getting a pro card. Anything else was just gonna be extra topping on my cake. Like that. So that was awesome. Like doing the little overall thing, and I think on that one, she definitely got me from below. But I felt like on upper body wise, back, lats, everything, I felt like I had her on that end. So it'll be interesting for our pro competitions. Like obviously, I feel like we're gonna be on the same stage at some time in the near future because there's only how many different shows now, like 6 to 8 bodybuilding shows at the pro level here in the U.S.
I think in the U.S. it's 5 right now. I think.
Yeah, there's not that many, so we're gonna cross paths. So it's gonna be interesting, to see where we place at that level with the other women as well.
Yeah. But for in terms of pro qualifier, I was so happy when I saw that lineup, that many, because at the end of the day, most, if not all, the pro qualifier in women's bodybuilding don't have enough athlete to issue the pro card. Sometimes they say, you need to have a minimum of 5. And that's all the shows I go, they never give a pro card to women's bodybuilders.
I don't understand that either, because there are some shows, all right, let's say they don't issue the pro card 5. That's kind of disheartening if it's like a bigger show. I think there was, Ashley, she's in women's bodybuilding. She came in second to Andrea. Like she had a client that competed and they didn't give her the pro card because of that there weren't 5 athletes. And that's very disheartening when you're prepping all that time. And it's not, in a way they're kind of like, it's like they're congratulating by giving you a medal, but then they're not giving you the pro card because other people didn't show up. That's out of your hands. You're doing what you can control, which is, your prep and everything.
There is actually a workaround to that, but you can, in some cases, in theory, if you think you look really good, but it was just you on stage, or maybe 2 people, 3 people, but you can do a request. You can email the head judge, I can't remember who, but there is a way, and they will evaluate if your physique is worth pro card, and they may give you the pro card. There is, but it's not guaranteed. For example, in Spain, when was it? In December, they did in Alicante the big man competition. They had only one woman bodybuilding. She traveled all the way from Dubai. She's British, but she traveled all the way there. She looked incredible. She's coached by Gina Cavaliero.
The team for pro coaching?
Yes, team pro coaching, yes. So she looked incredible. Only athlete, they refused the pro card to her. And I think she was worth the pro card. You looked really good. But probably because she was the only, maybe if there were 2 athletes, 3, maybe they could have said, okay. But because she was the only one, they rejected her request, unfortunately.
One thing also, maybe you can enlighten me on this, at the national level, when you're reading the contestant entry form and who's going to get the pro cards for women's bodybuilding, they only give out 1 pro card, But in Physique, they hand out 2. I don't understand why they give more pro cards to the Physique and not the women's bodybuilding, like 2 or so.
In wellness, they do the same all the time.
They do the
have
same.
more than one. Yeah. And I don't know about bikini, but yeah, definitely. I've seen multiple pro cards being given to first, second, third. I don't know. I mean, which could be valid, but it has to be consistent in every show.
Yeah,
not one show is like this and the other. But same for the for the Olympia qualifier. I still don't understand those 3 qualifications at the Rising Phoenix and one for the others. I understand they removed the big prize and they were trying to get more athletes to be motivated to do that show. But it was a little bit too late when they announced it. Other athletes were going to Germany as well to try because, of course, at the Rising Phoenix, there was Andrea Shaw. So she would definitely win that show. And if there was only one qualification, ciao, it's over.
Yeah, a lot of girls are, it sounds bad, but like she's been Miss Olympia for X amount of years. So they're going to be like, okay, it's either her, Angela, or maybe Ashley who are going to be the top 3. So, so it's like if Andrea is going, that she's most likely going to win unless she just somehow, I haven't seen it happen, come horribly off, doesn't nail her prep, or her peak week. But yeah, so with that being said, like, I know I heard this on another, I think, interview or podcast where that it was like the promoters or people like saying that that's kind of like a loser's mindset to not show up. But no, I think a lot of these women are thinking financially, time, effort, because they're saving all that money for one show, 1 or 2 shows. And it's like, why would I go when I know Andrea is going to be there and that there's only one qualifier and, she's most likely going to get it. And so I don't think that's the loser mindset, and especially where we are now, like where a lot of people are struggling and then they're saving money to compete. Like, I don't think that was like the right outlook on it, but that's just their perspective. They're not the ones competing and having to save money. And especially with women, we do, I'm not saying the male athletes don't live also this life, but a lot of women have a lot of things going on. They have children, they have 1 or 2 jobs, and they still have to fill all these hats, and they're trying to do bodybuilding for them on the side, and they're they're wanting to fit that into their life. And it's a very you have to make choices that are right for you and your yourself and your family, and they choose these shows where it fits your schedule, which the scheduling conflict where they're changing things, like just like they wake up one day, it's like, oh, let's do this, or let's promote this, or let's change this. That messes a lot of people up. Like, we need some consistency in knowing that things aren't just going to be changed whenever they feel like they want to change it.
Yep, absolutely. Kelli, I don't want to take too much of your time, already 1 hour and 12 minutes, but do you have time for one more question? Yeah, time is flying. Yeah. But I had a couple of extra questions if you have a little bit more time. Oops, sorry, I lost the window. Yeah, if you had a time machine, and you could, you could go back in time and compete in an era when it could be, I'm happy with what is going on now, or I prefer what it was before, or I want to compete. Which show, I mean, not the exact year, but what would be your dream to compete against who? Yeah.
Okay, so this, I wouldn't say specific year, but I would say the era would be, I would have loved to have been a pro bodybuilder and competitive during the time where Cindy, Deborah, Alina were all on stage. I felt like that was like,
all right,
for me, that was like the highlight of the women's bodybuilding, to have all those
2014, some 2000.
Yeah, it'd be around there, 2011 to 14, around there.
Yeah. Those were the great time. Some of the best physique ever, and the lineups were big.
Yes, they were big women, beautiful, like that. And Iris was there as well. Like, just having all those women on stage, that's kind of like comparative to, you know, having Kevin Brown and having Dorian, everybody on the same stage, you know, that whole lineup.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. And that'd probably be the era that I wish I could have been competitive in.
Yeah. I like that because those were the years where I started following the shows more actively. I mean, I've always, since I was, younger, but there were not many news, many opportunities to see something on the internet. But now it's more easy to see the shows. There is the live streaming, and I think that's the kind of time where I started, becoming more interested in who's winning, who are these athletes, getting to know, and
and like as you said, like we didn't have the access that we do now, like to live stream and everything. So like we had to find out about placings in a magazine or something like after the fact, and like also oddly, like I felt that time, you know, like Yevgenia, Alina, when they're very competitive, I felt like there was more of a sense of a respect, or like when you looked at those women, you're like, oh my God, you know, they seem like unworldly, like, and now I feel like we don't have that similar effect, despite there being more possibilities, more ways to see us, streaming, Instagram, and being a part of our lives and following our journey. I feel like for some reason that isn't there anymore. Maybe it is, I just don't see it. Yeah, like I wish that we can get back to that. I don't know how yet, but you know, again, that goes with, I'm not saying it's on the fans, but I think also not having a federation seeing us that way as well. Like, I think that affects us. You know, because they see us right now online fighting to keep our division relevant. And that, I don't say that doesn't look good on us, but they're going to be like, why aren't they valued in the sport? What's going on? Like, you know, that they're, So I think.
For example, I'm very disappointed. As I was telling you earlier, I'm going to the Arnold's, but at the Arnold's competitions, I think the biggest women's competition is fitness that they're gonna do.
Negative fitness, because
they don't have even figure anymore. Last time I went to the Arnold's here in the UK was a few years ago, and there was all the way up to Physique, women's Physique. It was great show. Then I don't know. Arnold decided to cut some division, which is a shame, but. But the good thing is that I heard a lot of everyone here in the UK are planning to go there, even if they are not competing. So there's going to be a good turnout of athletes showing, promoting their division. So it's going to be good.
Because there's a lot of other things to see. Because like there's powerlifting, strongman, and sports that I didn't know existed there, like Highland Games, and so it does draw a huge crowd, which is probably something that Olympia should probably check into, do something similar, not just bodybuilding if they want to.
But the best of the best was in Germany, the FIBO. That expo, it's the biggest in the world, but what I loved about that, it was mainly focused on bodybuilding. Usually,
I've seen like little takes on Instagram. It seems intense, huge.
I did like a 25 minutes video interviewing athletes going around. I can share the link with you if you want to have a look. And I interviewed lots of athletes. I even saw there was Andrea Shaw as well. I had a little video with her as well. So there was a massive participation from all over the world. I even saw. I don't know if you remember her. She used to compete in the 90s. She was an IFBB Pro women's bodybuilding athlete, Denise Hosho.
You saw her there?
She was there. Of course, she competed in the 90s, but she was there, still looking good, really good. Of course, it's been a few years later, but she was there as well. I said, wow, she traveled all the way from America to just hang out here at the... at the FIBO. I haven't seen her in many years, and then boom, I see her there in front of me at the FIBO. That was good, but were athletes from all over the world. Yeah, everyone, the men as well, but it was mainly focused on bodybuilding, and I love that.
I would love to see that. I would love to travel.
I will send you the video where I interviewed a few people there, just to give you an idea of what it's like, the vibe there. But it's really, really good. You will see some faces that you probably recognize because they are athletes that compete in America often. So,
outside of the U.S., is there like a desire to have American athletes from the U.S. come and compete, or like?
Yes, of course, yes. There are quite a few. I met in Romania. I met Farah Fawcett. No, so Farah Fawcett is the actress. Sorry, Farah Faulkner.
What does she have to do with bodybuilding? But okay.
No. Sorry. I keep saying Farah Faulkner. She's American. She did the women's physique, but she just moved into bodybuilding, and she did her debut in
Farah Faulkner, blonde.
Yes, yeah. I interviewed her in Romania. Yeah, she came and competed in Romania, and there were a few other Americans in the women's physique as well, from Canada. There are several athletes, and then in Germany there was Anastasia. She came, but of course, who competed also? Mayla Ash as well. Not the year before. She was there. I saw her twice in Europe competing. Yeah. So we want American to come and compete and bring some good American muscle.
Awesome to compete or like to go there. I don't know if they have programs there, but have brands or sponsors sponsor the athletes to come there, to have a presence.
I would really love that. Yes. I don't know if there is something going on at the moment, but for sponsors, but that would be great. That'd
be awesome.
Yeah. But if you need some information about, let me know, and I can provide you.
Thank you. No, I'll be reaching out to you after the podcast. For stuff involving the series.
For anything, let me know. I will be more than happy to give my little help if I can.
Thank you.
To contribute with some content. I'm going to edit this video probably tomorrow, and then post it in the evening. And I will tag you. I will make a story and a post for Instagram with the link. The video will be on YouTube, on the podcast on YouTube. Awesome. And of course I will put all the links, the social names, the Instagram handles for your channels and for project.
Did you share the GoFundMe link too? Because the GoFundMe not only supports the series, but the money that we generate also supports the athletes who are partaking in the series.
Yeah. That's the first thing I'm gonna put. So I will put the GoFund everywhere, on video, in the description, everywhere, so people cannot miss it. That's
you, Claudio.
Yes. Perfect. So, is there anything else you would like to add before I let you? Something?
No, I don't. I think we covered almost everything that was in my mind,
all right,
about the series and why the series came about, and our goal for helping women's bodybuilding.
Yes. So, guys, if you watch the video until here, please support the division Women's Bodybuilding. Support Kelli with the GoFundMe for this amazing documentary that she's producing. The division Women's Bodybuilding, the sport, need you. Help saving the sport for women, because they work hard, they totally deserve that stage, and nobody can take that away. Yes. Perfect. Thank you so much again for your time, and I will let you know as soon as everything is live.
Thank you.
Okay?
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Bye, Kelli. Bye. Bye.